Well, good morning. Out on a beautiful southern Arizona morning. Absolutely beautiful. Sun lighting up the mountains. Hardly even a cloud in the sky. Another beautiful day to be out on my beautiful bike. Oh, it's always fun to get inside the helmet of motovloggers, you know? And hear what their thoughts are and what they're doing. The funny thing is that I'm told that I have this really pleasant demeanor with most of you folks. That's the impression you guys get from me. And I think that's a genuine thing about me. No doubt about it. However, there was a meme that went around a couple years ago called RBF. It stands for resting bitch face. And I guess my RBF, or my typical face, is not a very happy one. Like, my regular resting state of my face makes it look as though I'm not going to say disapproving, but not at all happy with what's going on. Which I find funny, and I have to be aware of this because I'm kind of a large guy, right? I'm right about 6 foot, 5'11" and a half for those of you with a measuring tape, and I'm a big dude. I mean, my weight swings depending on how good I'm being. But I'm kind of a big person, and if a big person is walking right at you and they have a not so happy look on their face, sometimes it can concern you, especially if you're a smaller person or maybe a woman, I guess. You know, and maybe this speaks to some of where our society is nowadays, but I don't view myself as a unhappy person or as an angry person or as someone that is disapproving of every moment of life. Not at all. I view myself as someone who's just sort of enjoying what I can from life and taking it easy everywhere else. Anyhow, I was just curious how many of you sort of run into that. Because here's what I find. Is simple interactions like at the grocery store or in line at the movie theater, which no one really has to do anymore with phone apps and buying movie tickets there. But anytime that you have just casual interactions with people, are there any of you guys out there that have to sort of soften your look? So what I'll do is I find that I have to add some character to my forehead. And my forehead is ever growing as my hair recedes, so I now really have more of an 8 head. But my forehead it's non-characteristic unless I impart some movement on it. So basically I have to sort of raise my eyebrows to sort of soften my look so my eyebrows aren't as low and it doesn't look like I'm scowling. I have to sort of bend the corner of one of the corners of my mouth up so that apparently it doesn't look like I'm frowning or just flatline. And I find that if I do that and I just try to soften my walk, I try not to do so much walking with a purpose and just sort of move a little more fluid. Basically just loosen up and then sort of force a positive vibe on your face, that I get much better reactions from people. That people will actually say hi. They'll, start up conversations at the grocery store. Now, mind you, I believe that my RBF does me a service, because most of the time I really don't want to talk to people at the grocery store or in line somewhere. I really don't. So it serves its purpose there. But at the same time, if you need assistance from someone, or you're, say, meeting the parents of one of your friends, meeting the parents of one of your kids' friends, then you have to sort of soften things up a bit. And that's what I find is true for me. Now, I don't know. I was just curious, how often is that true for you guys? because I don't walk around with a big old smile plastered all over my face. That's just not who I am, and it doesn't happen. So I was just kind of curious, you know, how many of you have to do that? Now, I can imagine that there's probably a lot to be said on this as far as social interactions and studying of social interactions goes, but from what I can see, it really makes a difference on how people react and how people act with me. So again, just comment below, tell me about it. I'm not surfing for comments, but I'd like to hear from you guys, especially the gentlemen out there, although it's called the RBF for a reason. And apparently there's a lot of women out there who have this issue where unless they're imposing a smile or a pleasant demeanor on their face, they're accused of being harsh, cold, and cruel. And you know, I don't give it much thought myself. I don't look for people's approval in their faces of my presence. You know what I'm saying? I don't look for approval of my presence in people's faces. I really don't. If I'm where I'm supposed to be, that's all that really matters. But that also goes with a sort of, I'm not going to say swagger, but a certain confidence that in yourself that you are where you're supposed to be. And honestly, I don't give two rips of whether or not someone is happy with my presence there or not. So that's just kind of me, and that's not everybody. Totally get that. But yeah, let me know if you have an issue with having to soften your outward demeanor, your outward presence. Fix your face. Do you have to fix your face when you interact with people lest you get a cold reception? Holy cow, Ventana Canyon is beautiful this morning, is it not? Look at that. Wow. Haven't been up here in a while. Just look at that. Oh man. God almighty, I love this place. I do love me some Arizona. All right, folks, go ride your bikes. God